Hi everyone, welcome back once again in my YouTube channel. So guys, I hope you all are doing good. So guys, in this video, I am going to discuss all about core Java interview question and answer. So mostly the question which is asked in the interview room related to the core Java. They are all the question I am going to discuss one by one. In this video, different types of topics we have in core Java, right? So coding as standard means all the basic question, then OOPS concept, multi-threading. So different types of concepts we have in the core Java. So all the question I will cover one by one. So almost this our PDF I have covered almost around 250 questions, 250 questions generally asked in the interview room. So I will not cover 250 questions in this interview. Part by part I will cover almost 50 questions I will cover in this video. Then part 2, part 3, part 4. Like that all the questions I will explain end to end. So guys, without wasting time, we'll start our discussion. This is video number part 1. So guys, these are all the questions I have prepared. The candidate will already given the interview in different MNC. So guys, see first slide. So question guy mostly asked in the interview room. So what are a static block and a static initializer in Java? So because this static thing, a static word, generally we are hearing but most of the interview room, right? What is static? Why are you going to use the static block? What is static initializer, right? So it's a simple thing. A static block or static initializers, right, are used to initialize a static field in Java. That thing we keep in mind. We declare a static block when we want to initialize a static field guy in our respective class. So a static block gets executed exactly only once guy in the class when it is loaded. A static block are executed even before the constructor are executing in our program. So guys, that is the main thing what we should remember. So the next question, how to call one constructor from other constructor, means how we are going to call one constructor from the other constructor. So guys, for that purpose we know, right? So in within the same class guys, if you want to call one constructor from other constructor, that means we need to use what, this method, right? We know very well what is this method, what is super, right? So guys, we need to use this method, right? Based on the number of parameters we pass appropriate, this method is called guys restriction for using this method guys. So first guy, what means this must be the first statement in the constructor guy. First thing we keep in mind. Then second thing guy, we can't use to this method in the constructor. With the help of we can call one constructor from the other constructor. So guys, the next question may asked by the interviewer, what is method overriding in Java? So this question may come in this way guys. So first they may ask, what do you mean by polymorphism, right? In the polymorphism, while you are going to explain, that time you need to tell, so you are going to use overriding and overloading. So these two concepts comes under our what, polymorphism. So this question is separately asked by the interviewer, what is the method overriding in Java? So guys, see, if you are going to explain overriding concept, so if sometimes what interview may ask, what the expectation is, where did you use overriding concept in your project? Where did you use overriding concept in your project? So guys, see, you can explain in such a way, right? So but in general, what you need to explain, suppose if subclass is not satisfied with the superclass implementation, that time we need to use overriding concept. There are also simple and neat what example, neat explanation. What I have told, when subclass is not satisfied with superclass implementation, or you can say when child class is not satisfied the implementation of parent class, that time we are going to override. Correct? Or we can see what they are mentioned here. If we have methods with same signature, same name and same what, signature and same return type. In superclass and subclass, what? Then we say what? Subclass method is overridden by superclass, correct? So guys, when to use overriding in Java? If you want some method with different behavior, only I mentioned you, when it's not satisfy the parent implementation, parent behavior, means what? If you want to same method with different behavior in superclass and subclass, then we go for overriding, correct? So when we call overridden method with subclass reference, what? Subclass method is called hiding the superclass method. That thing you need to keep in mind, guys. So guys, the next question, what is super keyword in Java? This is very important question, guys. Most of the candidates doesn't know why we are going to use the super keyword. What the use of super keyword in Java? So let's see, variables and methods of super class can be avoided in subclass, right? What we know very well, right? So guys, in case of overriding, a subclass object call its own variables and methods, but subclass cannot access the variable and methods of superclass because the overridden variables or methods hides the method and variable of superclass. Correct, guys? But still in Java provides a way to access superclass members even if the members are overridden. So guys, super is a what? Used to access superclass variable, methods and constructor. Its name refers super means top means parent. Correct, guys? So super can be used here in two forms. First form is for calling superclass constructor, and second one is the call superclass variable methods. Correct, guys? So super if you present must be the first statement, guys. Correct? So guys, this is very important what we should know if we are going to give any interview, right? So guys, then difference between method overloading and method overriding, that is very basic question, guys. Most of the interviewers this question generally ask because they are going to test your knowledge at basic level, because this is the concept of OOPS, right? Polymorphism. Under polymorphism, these two things coming, right? So method overloading and method overriding. So guys, definitely you should know the answer of what method overloading and method overriding difference. In which situation you are going to use the method overloading and which situation you are going to use the method overriding. Definitely we need to know. So I have written one by one here. So let's see, first I will tell you what the first difference. So method overloading occurs within the same class. Guys, first thing you should tell to the respective interviewer if they may ask this question. So method overloading occurs within same class, guys, but method overriding occurs between two different class, guys. Means subclass or superclass. It means two different class, guys. So guys, second difference, since it involves with only one class, inheritance is not involved. Because if you are going to use single class, that means you are not going to extend your class, right? That means inheritance we are not going to use. But in method overriding occurs between superclass and subclass, means parent class or child class, definitely inheritance will be involved. That is second difference we should know. And get third difference, in overloading return type need not be same. What, guys? Return type need not be same, but in overriding return type must be same, guys. Right? And guys, next difference, parameters must be different when we do overloading. Their what template is looks like, guys, means what method name is same but different type of parameters. Only we can say that is method overloading. That's why, guys, parameter must be different when we do overloading implementation. But in method overriding, guys, parameter must be same, guys. Must be same the method name as well what parameters. Guys, next difference, a static polymorphism can be achieved using method overloading. This is the guy. One more question may ask, what do you mean by a static polymorphism? A static binding, right? This is the name of the what method overloading. Guys, in same way, in difference of fifth difference of method overriding is what dynamic polymorphism, means what? Runtime binding. Okay, can be achieved using the method overriding. Then next, last difference, in overloading one method cannot hide another, but in overriding we can't. Means what? We can. So in overriding, subclass method hides that of the superclass method. So once I will implement with the ID, I will explain this thing as well with code base guide. But as of now, what the theory is say I have mentioned here, right? All the differences I have mentioned one by one. Please look into that all differences and keep in mind. Okay, that is very helpful for you guys. So guys, next question, difference between abstract class and interface guide. This is also very common question in the interview. So what is the difference between interface and abstract class? Guys, I have already made one video, complete only one video on difference between abstract class and interface. Almost 40-45 minutes video are there, guys. So the who don't know the difference between interface and abstract class, please go that video and watch, and will completely you can understood what is the exact difference between what interface and abstract class. So but here I am mentioned very shortly. So you can see here, first difference, interface contain only what? Abstract method, what we know very well, no need to explain this difference. So interface contains only abstract method, right? So guys, abstract class means what? Abstract class can contain abstract method as well as concrete method as well. Concrete method means what? The method which have body, right? Abstract method means what? The method which doesn't have any body, right? Means any implementation, correct? So guys, next difference, access specifier for methods in interface must be public. It should be 100%, it should be public. But in except private, but in every class guide, except private, we can have any specifier for method in every class guide. Third difference guide, variable defined must be public, static and final in the interface. But in the every class guide, except private, variable can have any access specifier we can use, right? The next difference, multiple inheritance in Java is implemented using interface only guide. What guide? So multiple inheritance in Java we can implement only using interface, but we can't achieve multiple inheritance using abstract class. Last difference guide, to implement an interface we use implements keyword, what we know very well. But to implement an interface we use implements keyword, right? But in abstract class I did mistake here again. So to implement abstract class, what? We should not use the what? Implement keyword. That is again main difference for what? Interface and abstract class. Correct guys? So guys, fifth number point, in abstract class it's leading here. So please correct. So to implement interface, so to implement abstract class, we no need to use the implement keyword. Mistakenly I have written here implements. Okay. So guys, the next question, why Java as a platform independent? That is also one very common question guys for the fresher level. So definitely interview may ask, hey, do you know why Java is platform independent? So guys, please understand and please listen carefully what I am going to explain here. So guys, the most unique feature of Java is get platform independent. So once you are going to count the feature of the Java, right? So that time we are writing this thing, right? The most unique feature of Java is platform independent. But we should know why. Why it is platform independent? So let's see what I am going to tell here. So in any programming language, right, source code is compiled into a executable code, right? Source code is compiled in a executable code, right? What we know very well. So that this cannot be run across all platforms. Once you're going to compile in executable code, so means this cannot run across all platforms. Right? So when JavaScript compiles here, when you're going to use the JavaScript compiles a Java program, it generates an executable file that is called .class file. We should remember, when you're going to use JavaScript command, right? So JavaScript compiles a Java program. It generates an executable file. That file is called dot class file. Right? So guys, once we get the dot class file, so dot class file contains bytecode, right? This bytecode are interpreted by the JVM. Right? Since this JVM are made what? Available across all the platforms. In other programming language, it's not possible, right? But what I mentioned here, JVM are made available across all platforms by Sun Microsystem, right? We can execute this bytecode, guy. What we have got, right? So once we're going to execute the bytecode in any platform, right? We can execute this bytecode in any platform. Bytecode generated in Windows environment, guy, can also execute in Linux environment. That is the different platform. So Windows, Linux, what, Mac. So there are different types of environment, right? This makes a Java that makes it is a Java platform, right? Good, guys. So that thing we should know. Guys, in next question, what is method overloading? Already I mentioned, guys. What is method overriding? Method overloading. Same method name but different parameter. That is called a method overloading. Also we can say a static binding. Good. So this question already I have explained. So guys, the next question, guys, what is difference between C++ and Java? So guys, this is all the differences. See, we can read one more time here, guys. So Java is a platform independent. Already just I mentioned before some time. There are no pointers in Java. There are no object overloading in Java. There is garbage collection in Java, right? Support multi-threading. There is no template in Java. There are no global variable in Java. But just reverse in the C++. C++ is a platform dependent, not independent, right? We can't execute this code in multiple platforms, right? So guys, that's why it's called a platform dependent, not a platform independent. So guys, there are pointers in C++, but we don't have in Java. C++ has a object overloading, but we don't have in Java. There is no garbage collection, but in Java we have. Doesn't support multi-threading, but we support in the Java. They are what? Template in Java, but it's not in. They are template in Java, but in Java, what? There are no any template. They are global variable in C++, but there are no global variable in Java. Guys, these all are the what difference between C++ and Java. Because this question once it came, guys, but in the interview room, when if you tell to interviewer I know Java, then may ask, if you know Java, then tell me why you use Java. Why are you going to use Java? Because you need to give somewhat disadvantage of other language. That is the main thing, guys, we should know. Guys, the next question, what is JIT compiler? Means JIT compiler, guys. It's very common question, guys, but we should know. It's very basic, guys. Sometimes interview may ask, what is JIT compiler? And suppose if you are not able to give the answer for this respective question, so what interview will come to know? Because you know the coding, you know the other concept, but why you don't know the JIT compiler concept? We should know, guys, that is a bad negative image. Okay, JIT compiler stands for what? Just in time compiler, right? JIT compiler complex bytes compiler. JIT compiler, guys, what it does? Compiles bytecode in a executable code. JIT is a part of JVM, guys, Java Virtual Machine. JIT is a part of Java Virtual Machine. So JIT cannot convert complete Java program into a executable code. It converts as a what? It converts as and when it is needed during execution. Okay, that thing we are going to use JIT compiler. So guys, what is bytecode in Java? There is all the basic question. So many candidates doesn't know this thing. What is bytecode? So guys, see, when Java compiler compiles what? A class, right? It generates dot class file. Already I mentioned you, right? So this dot class file contains set of instruction, right? It's called bytecode. Bytecode is a machine independent language, guys. Keep in mind, in simple word. So bytecode is a machine independent language and contains set of instruction which are to be executed by JVM. And JVM can understand this bytecode only, not any other code. So once we're going to use this bytecode, so it understands only JVM, not any other machine guy. So guys, that thing we should know about the bytecode. Then next question, difference between this and super. What is this method and super method? This is very important question guys. Really I am telling to you people, so many candidates don't know this thing. What is this method and what is super method? But what I am going to tell you here is very simple. So guys, this method is used to access one constructor from another within the same class, while super is used to access superclass constructor guy, not the what in same class. Either this or super exists, it must be the first statement in the constructor. That thing guy you should keep in mind. Okay guy, then the question coming, what is class guy? What I'm going to explain here, so all are the basic question only. This should know, this answer we should know, right? So then the question is, what is class? So most of the people you know very well right? What is the class. So classes are fundamental or basic unit in object oriented program guy. Once you're going to use the OOPS concept or object oriented program, that means we should know why it's needed. So classes are guy fundamental basic unit of object oriented programming. So a class is a kind of blueprint guy. So many places you can see it's mentioned it's a blueprint, right? But I mentioned here it's a kind of what blueprint or a template of object where we can explain all these things. Class defines variable, methods. Yes or no? A class tells what type of objects we are going to create. For example, guys, such like suppose we are going to take a department, right? Department class tells us we can create department type of object, right? We can create any number of department objects. All programming constructs guys in Java, it says in class only, right? What we are going to create in logic, everything's under a class only guys. When JVM starts running, it first looks for the class. What is the class name? Yes or no? Correct guys? So when it compiles, every Java application must have at least one class. Only we can compile. So guys, that's why you can see dot class file, right? So with the class name only we are going to get the class file, right? So guys, must at least one class and one main method. Class start with the class keyword. A class definition guys must be saved in the class file already mentioned guys. So that has same as class name. File name must be end with the .java extension. Yes or no? Suppose test.java. If you're going to create a class name is a test, so it will create test.java, right? You can see that is our class. What is class and how are we going to construct a class in Java? So then next question, what is an object? So guys, object is an instance of class. Instance means guys it's reference, right? So object is an instance of a class. A class defines types of object. Each object belongs to some class. So every object contains a state and behavior, right? Every object contains a state and behavior. Just like a state means guy is determined by the value of attributes and behavior is called the method guy. Just keep in mind, state means it is a value, determines the value of attribute, and behavior means the method, whatever action it is doing. So objects are also called an instance. Already I mentioned guy. Objects are called also a instance. To instantiate the class, we declare with the class type guy. Yes or no? Suppose if you are going to create class first class. So once you are going to create the object, we need to create first class what f equal to new first class. Correct guy? That thing we should know. Guys, the next question, what is method in Java? Why it needs? Correct? So guys, it contains the executable body, right? It contains the executable body that can be applied to the specific object of the class. Method includes guys method name, parameters, that means argument. Parameter and argument both are same guys, and return type and the body of executable code, right? What we're going to return, definitely we need to add the return type. Correct guys? That is our method. Just like this example you can see, public float add int a int b int c, right? So public is the guy our what specifier, right? Float is the return type, at is the method name, int a, int b, int c is the, you can say, parameter as well as argument. Correct guys? That is our method structure. Correct guys? So also you can see syntax. So type, method name and argument. Correct guys? So the next question, what is encapsulation? The also a very important question guys. What is encapsulation? So guys, through encapsulation we can hide and protect the data stored in Java object. So guys, Java supports encapsulation concept. We know very well, right? What? It supports encapsulation through access control guys. There are 4 access control modifiers in Java guys: public, private, protected and default level as well, right? So for example guys, we can see, suppose if you take one example, take a car. Take a car as a class, right? So in car guys, we have many parts, right, which is not required for driver to know what all it consists guys inside. He is required to know only about how to start and stop the car. Yes or no? Driver wants to know only how to start and stop the car. But in internally so many things we have, right? So we can expose all the required and hide the rest by using encapsulation only. With the encapsulation concept, we can hide all other required things. Only we are going to expose how to start and how to stop. That is encapsulation. We can just explain with an example. The next question, why main method is public, static and void? Because so many candidates doesn't know, because they are going to use public, static, void main, but he and she doesn't know, they don't know why we are going to use what? Public, static, void main. So let's see one by one. I will explain all the keyword here. Public means guys, we know very well, right? This is access modifier, right? So public is an access specifier which can be used outside the class. Public means anyone can access. That's why guys, we can mention here public, because when main method is declared public, it means it can be used outside class as well. Okay. Then guys, next, static. So static means guys, already a first question I mentioned you, right? First question I mentioned, what is static? So to call a method we require object, right? To call a method we require a object. We know very well. So sometimes it may be required to call a method without the help of object. Guys, I hope you are with me, right? Sometimes it may be required to call a method without the help of object. So without, if you're going to call a method without the help of object, how we can? So then we declare that method as a static. If anybody asks you, hey, why you're going to do a static, that time you need to tell him, sometimes it may be required to call a method without the help of object, right? Then we declare that method as static. JVM calls the main method without creating an object by declaring the keyword as a static. Correct guys? I hope you understood. Guys, then next, void. Void means guys, nothing. No return means void return type is used when a method doesn't return any value, right? We are not giving any return type here. We are defining here void. Means guys, main method doesn't return any value. So main method declared as a void. Excuse me. That means all the things we should know before starting our application. Public, static, void main. Because why? All the things we are going to use in our application. Guys, next question, explain about main method in Java. Already mentioned guys. So main method means starting point of execution of all Java application guys. Main method is a starting point of execution for all Java application. Also we can see guys, whenever if you're going to create also a Spring Boot application, so a Spring Boot is giving us one main method creation already by default, right? In the main method already you can see our Spring application dot run method, right? It comes under our main method only guys. Good guys, I hope you understood all the things. So public, static, void main guys. So string args guys are the array of string object we need to pass from command line argument, correct? So every Java application must have at least one main method. Only we can start our application. Only we can run our application. Without this, we can't imagine to start our application at all. Guys, the next question, what is constructor in Java, guys? This is very important question, guys. What is constructor? So guys, when you use constructor means to initialize all the variable in class, right? Suppose if you're going to create some, suppose your int name, int roll number, int address, sorry, string address, int roll number, right? String name. So all the variable if you created, right? So when we use constructor to initialize all the variable what we have created in the class, right? When an object is created, right? As and when an object is created, it initializes automatically, guys, with the help of constructor, right? That means parameter constructor, right? With the help of parameter constructor, we can initialize automatically what? All the value. So we have two types of constructor, guys: default constructor and parameter constructor. Already I mentioned you. Default constructor means if we are not going to create any constructor in your class, that means JVM will create by default zero parameter constructor, guys. But if we are going to explicitly, that means we need to create parameter constructor as per your requirement. Correct, guys? So constructor name is same as our class name. That thing also we keep in mind, guys. Then guys, next question, what is difference between what length and length method in Java? Sometimes guys, once the interviewer may ask, can write some code with the help of length method, then we should know what is the length and length method. So guys, see, length method, first I'm explaining here. In a string class we have length method, right? In a string class we have one length method which is used to return the number of character, which is used to count the number of character in a string. Suppose example, a string str equal to hello world. So system.out.println str.length, because hello world we are going to store in the str object, right? So str.length, so it will return our length of the string is 11, which is count the character, correct? That is used the length method. But what is length? So we have length instance variable, guys, in array, right, which will return the number of values or object in the array, guys. Just like example, guys, string days. So Sunday to Saturday I mentioned here. So we will return the 6 since the number of value is in the array is 6. I hope you got it, guys. Then guys, next question, what is ASCII code? What is ASCII? Sometimes this question may not by the interview, but we should know what is ASCII code, guys. So ASCII standard, guys, American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So guys, ASCII character range is 0 to 255. So we can't add more characters to the ASCII character, guys. So ASCII character set supports only in English, guys. So that is the reason, guys. If you see C language, we can write C language only in English. We can't write in other language because it uses ASCII code, guys. That is, guys, about ASCII code. Then guys, next question, what is Unicode? Right? So these are all the questions very basic, guys. I am telling to you, so many people don't know. The people who don't know, for them I am telling you, okay? So we should know this thing. What is Unicode? So Unicode is a character set developed by Unicode Consortium, right? So to support all language in the world, Java supports Unicode value, guys. Unicode character were represented by 16-bit, guys, and its character range is 0 to 65,535. Java uses ASCII code for all input elements except for string identifier and comments, guys. If you want to use Telugu, we can use Telugu characters, guys, for identifiers. We can enter comments in Telugu, guys, only. Guys, next question, guys, difference between characters constant and string constant in Java, guys. So guys, character constant is enclosed in single quote. Keep in mind, character constant is enclosed in single quote, but a string constant is enclosed in double quote, guys. Characters constant are single digit or characters. String constant are collection of characters, guys. What we know very well. What is string? So a string means is a collection of character. Just like example, 2 and A, that is character, right? And hello world, that is string. Correct, guys? Next question, guys, what are constants and how to create constant in Java? What are constants and how to create constant in Java? So guys, constants are fixed value, right? what we need to variable, right? So constants are fixed values whose value cannot be changed during the execution of program. We create constant in Java using final keyword. Yes or no? Final int number, that is 10, that is fixed. It is not what? Modifiable, right? Final string str, that means Java interview question, that is our fixed string, right? That is final, we can't change. That is constant and create constant. What is constant? How we are going to create a constant? So final string str, that is how we are going to create the string constant, correct? Guys, then next question, difference between greater, this is operator guy, and double greater and triple greater operator in Java guy. So guys, double operator is double greater than is a right shift operator. Shift all the bits in value to the right to a specified number of times guys. Int a equal to 15 means a, suppose if you write a greater 3, right, that it will written in such a way, that means the above line code moves 15 3 characters right side guy, correct? But if you write 3 times greater, it is unsigned shift operator guy. It is unsigned shift operator used to shift right guy. The place when we bracketed by shift are filled with 0 guy. That thing also we can keep in mind. So guys, this is all are the basic question for Java. Now I am going to explain that is the coding standard interview question. If they move, how the candidate are going to write the code in the implementation, that I may wants to know about this question. So guys, explain Java coding standard for classes or Java coding convention for classes. So class level coding standard what we should have. So guys, Sun Microsystems has created Java coding standard or Java coding convention. It is recommended highly to follow Java coding standard. So first guy, class name. So class name should start with uppercase letter guy. So if they may ask what do you mean by coding standard for class level, that time you should tell to them, so class name should start with uppercase letter. Class name should be non, right? If class name is of what? Multiple word, then first letter of inner word must be capital letter, correct? Just employee details, you can see employee is a capital and D is the what? Caps, right? Array list, tree set, hash set. So most of the candidates, once they are going to the first time code, they don't know, they don't follow the coding standard, right? So guys, that's why I am telling to you, if they wants to know about the coding standard at class level, so you need to tell this way, right guys? The next question, explain Java coding standard for interface. Interface level, how we are going to write the code. So interface will start with uppercase letter only guys. Interface name should be adjective. Example, runnable, serialization, marker, clonable, right? You can see here. That is adjective. You know what is adjective? Which defines the what? Advantage. Yes or no? Get the next, explain Java coding standard for methods level. So how the methods we need to define in our implementation. So method name should start with a small letter guy. Method name are usually verbs. If method contains multiple word, every inner word should start with uppercase letter guy, just like class, right? So to a string, to T is a small and S is a capital, right? Method name must be combination of verb and noun guy. Verb and noun. So that is all the things guys, it's very basic. But most of the people don't know, right? Only they are writing the code, but if you will tell to him what do you mean by coding standard at method level, sometimes they may confuse what is the answer for this particular question. But we should not, right? We need to know very confidently if anybody asks. So guys, the next question, explain Java coding standard for variables. How the Java coding standard on the variable levels. So variable names should start with a small letter. Variable names should be non, short meaningful names and recommended. If there are multiple words, every inner word should start with uppercase character, string, value, EMP name, EMP salary. Right guy? Then guy, explain Java coding standard for constants. How we need to define the constant in the application, in the program. So constants in Java are created using a static and final keyword, right? So constant contains only uppercase letter, guy. Keep in mind. So if constant name is combination of two words, it should be separated by underscore. Just like that, constant names are usually max value, max priority, min priority. If you're going to create a constant, that time we should keep the name in such a way. It looks like you know, or you are the what? Expert. You are the experienced guy. You know the coding. You know the standard of coding standard, right? Right, guys? So all things we have only, right? So only we need to expose in front of interviewer. So the next question, difference between overriding and overloading. I have mentioned two times gap. That is same answer for earlier what I explained. Then guy, this is very important question, guy. What is a relationship in Java? What is a relationship in Java, and what is has a relationship in Java? That is the most common question in most of the interview by the interview room. So difference between is a relationship and has a relationship. So guys, is a relationship is also known as inheritance. If they may ask, just keep in mind. So is a relationship belongs to inheritance. We can implement is a relationship or inheritance in Java using extend keyword, guy. The advantage or inheritance or is a relationship is reusability of code instead of duplicating the code. Motorcycle is a vehicle. What, guy? Motorcycle is a vehicle. Car is a vehicle. Both car and motorcycle extend vehicle only, guy. Means both car and motorcycle extend with vehicle only. But guy, has a. What is has a? So has a relationship also known as composition or aggregation. Sometimes they may ask, what is a relationship? So is a relationship also known as a inheritance, but has a relationship also known as composition or aggregation. So as in inheritance we have extends keyword. We don't have any keyword to implement has relationship in Java. The main advantage of has relationship in Java, code reusability. Code reusability. So let's see, I've already mentioned difference here. So is relationship, has relationship. So first difference, is relationship also known as inheritance and has a relationship known as composition or aggregation. Is a relationship we use extend keyword. For has relationship we use new keyword. Keep in mind, guys. Example, car is a vehicle, but in has a car has a engine, not a car is a engine. Guys, keep in mind, such type of things they may expect from you. What is a, what is has a. So car is a vehicle is a relationship, but car has a engine is a has a relationship. We can't say car is an engine, right? The main advantage of an inheritance is, guys, reusability of code. The main advantage of has relationship is reusability of code only, guys. That thing we should know. Guys, then next question, explain about instance of operator in Java. Guys, this is also one question, right? This is important question, right? So guys, instance of operator used to test the object is which type. If you are going to use instance of operator, that means you need to know what type of object you have, right? Syntax, reference expression, or instance of destination type. Once you're going into typecasting, that time you need to mention what type of instance of object, what type of object we are going to check. Right, guys? That is the instance of operator. Okay, instance of returns true if reference expression is subtype of destination type. Instance of returns false if reference expression is null. Okay, this thing we should know. Guys, next question, what does null mean in Java? If you can see anywhere what is null, then what it means, guys. When a reference variable doesn't point any value, guys. When a reference variable doesn't point any value, it is assigned null by default. Example guy, employee. As of now, if we are not what instantiating any value, that means employee as a null. In the other example, employee already is not instantiate, so it is pointed as a null. Correct? Because if we are not what instantiate to employee anywhere in your program, that means it is treated as a null only. If we have initially any value, then it becomes not a null. So can we have multiple classes in single file? Yes, we can have multiple classes in single file, but people rarely do that. Not recommended guys. We can have multiple classes in file, but only one class can make public guys. If we try to make two classes in one file public, we get following comparison error guys. Then we may get some comparison error guys. That thing we keep in mind. So what all access modifiers are allowed to top class guys? So guys, for top class, right, class 1 two access modifiers we are allowed generally, public and default. If a class declared as a public, it is visible to everyone, right? If a class is declared as a default, it is visible to only in same package guys. If class defined as a default, that means it is visible only in same package, not in other package. If we try to give private and protected access modifier to class, we get the below comparison error guide. Illegal modifier for the class, only public and state and final are permitted. This thing we need to keep in mind once you're going to define a class with modifier, access modifier. So what are packages in Java guide? So okay, this thing also one important question we need to keep in mind. So package is a mechanism. Package is a mechanism to group related classes. It is a collection of related classes, interface and enums in a single modules package. So one thing, package can be declared using a following statement: package and package name. Suppose I am writing com.app. Suppose Java mind, right? So that is the standard to write the package. So package name should be declared in a small letter guy. Keep in mind. So package statement defines the namespace. The main use of package guy to resolve naming conflicts. For visibility control guy, we can define classes and interface. They are not accessible outside the class. That thing we should keep in mind guy. Guy, then next question, can we have more than one package statement in source file? We can't guy, never. We can't have more than one package statement in source file. In any Java program, there can be at most only one package statement. We will get comparison error guy if we have more than one package statement in source file. Got it guy? I hope you got it, correct? The next question, can we define package statement after import statement in Java? We can't define package statement guy after import statement in Java, because package statement must be the first statement in source file guy. We can have comments before the package statement. Then guy, we move into the identifiers. So what are identifiers in Java? What all those identifiers in Java guy? So guy, identifiers are names in Java programs. Identifiers can class name, method name or variable name, right? So we have some rules guy. Rules of defining identifier in Java guy. So first rule, what it is. So identifier must start with letters, underscore or dollar sign guy. Then second, identifiers can start with numbers. There is no limit on number of characters in identifier, but not recommended to have more than 15 characters guy. That thing also we should keep in mind. Java identifiers are case sensitive guy. First letter can be alphabet or underscore and dollar sign. From second letter we can have number. We should not use guy reserved words for identifiers in Java. That all the things we should keep in mind when going to identify the identifier. So what are access modifier in Java guy? We know very well. The important feature of encapsulation in access control guide. The important feature of encapsulation is access control. How you are going to restrict, right? With the help of different types of modifiers, just like what? Public, private, protected, default. So by preventing access control, we can misuse of the class method member. Right guy? That's why guy, a class method or variable can access is determined with the help of access modifier. There are three types of access modifier in Java: public, private, protected. Generally, if you know access modifier is a specifier, then it is default access. Correct, guy? Then again, next question: what is difference between access specifier and access modifier in Java? Okay, in C++ we know, right? Where access specifier as a public, private, protected in default, and access modifiers are as a static final. But there is no such division of access specifier and access modifier in Java. In Java, guy, we have access modifier and non-access modifier. So access modifier means, guy, public, private, protected, default. But non-access modifier means abstract, final, and strict FP. That is, guy, access modifier and access specifier. We can differentiate. Then again, next question: what access modifier can be used for a class? At a class level, what type of access modifier we may use? So guys, see, first I am going to explain public, right? So guys, see, public access modifier when we can use. So a class with public modifier can be visible, guys. In which case, in which situation it is visible, guys. So in the same class, if you are going to use the public modifier, that means you are going to use the same class in same package subclass, in same package non subclass, in the different package subclass, in the different package non subclass. So guys, I have mentioned all the step here. See, public, default, right? When we may use. Then the next question: explain what access modifiers can be used for method level. So all the same thing I mentioned here. At the method level, how we are going to define public, default, and protected and private. This thing you can see here, guys. Get the next question: explain what access modifiers can be used for variable level. Same guy, first I mentioned a class level, then method level, then I'm explaining here variable level. So this all things get in variable level, how we are going to define access modifier as a public, default, protected, and private. Guys, this type of question you can't get anywhere. So I have collected all the question one by one. Okay, then I have mentioned here. So with this help of this PDF, you can come to know so many questions, guys. Guys, the next question: what is final access modifier in Java? What is final access modifier in Java, guys? See, guys. So final access modifier can be used for a class, method, and variable. The main advantage of final access modifier, guys, is security, right? What do we know? Final means, guys, the main advantage of final access modifier is security. No one can modify all classes, variables, and methods. The main advantage of final access modifier is cannot implement OOPS concept in Java, inheritance of polymorphism. Final class, final method, final variable. I will bring one video: final, finally, and finalize. What is final? What is finally? What is finalize? Then also I will explain this thing. Okay, as of now you can see what is final modifier. So final we can use at a class level, method level, and variable level. These three levels we can use frequently. Guys, the next question: explain about FC class in Java. Already I have one mix on video, guys, about FC class. You may check that video, guys. But I will explain shortly here. So we may come across, guys, situation where we can't provide implementation. Suppose some situation will come where we cannot provide implementation to all the methods in a class. We want to leave the implementation to a class that extend. In such case, guys, we declare a class as a abstract. Keep in mind, guys, one more time I will explain in which situation we are going to get abstract class. So guys, we may come across a situation where we cannot provide implementation to all the methods in a class. We want to leave the implementation to a class that extends from where we are going to extend the class. In such a case, we declare a class as an abstract. To make a class abstract, we use a keyword, that is abstract keyword. Any class that contains one or more abstract method, guys, method is declared as an abstract. If we don't declare class as abstract which contains abstract method, we get compile time error, guys. We get the following error. Correct? Must means the class name must be abstract class to define abstract method. Correct? This thing we should know, guys. So guys, also I can tell you some important feature of the abstract class. So abstract class cannot be instantiated. A abstract class contains abstract method, concrete method, or both. Any class which extend abstract class must be override all the method of abstract class guys. And next, an abstract class can contain either 0 or more abstract method. Guys, that is all about abstract class. Okay, the next question, can we create constructor in abstract class? We can create constructor in abstract class. It doesn't give any comparison error. But we cannot instantiate class. There is no use in creating a constructor for abstract class. Yes or no? That thing you know, right? Get the next question, what are abstract method in Java? This thing I have explained what is abstract class, but what is the abstract method? So guys, an abstract method is a method which doesn't have any body. First thing we should know, right? Also we know very well in interface level, right? So all the method what we are going to define inside the interface, all are the abstract method. Means this method doesn't have any body. Abstract method is declared with keyword guy, abstract and semicolon in place of method body. But if we have the body, that means it is concrete method, not a abstract method. That is the guy abstract method in our Java. So guys, from this point only I am stopping this part 1. So next class guys, in next video I will explain so from 52. So Java exception handling interview question. So what I have created from what? Java exception handling. So all those questions I will explain in coming video part 2. For that guys, I will stop my this video. So guys, if you like the video or it is helpful for you this video, please guys like, share and subscribe my channel, which will boost my motivation. I will also bring so many such a video which may help you. But guys, thank you as of now. Bye bye. We'll meet in next video very soon.